Hello everyone, how are you doing? Today this video is about Dr. Fauci erupts over calls for his arrest. QA expert Daryl Guberman explains about the Wuhan, China laboratory underwriters. And we're going to show you an article today, and here it is. This article is about Diplomats warning about Wuhan, China and the possible release of some sort of very bad virus from that laboratory. In fact, we'll read you a couple of the excerpts, which you have to listen to. The Wuhan Institute of Virology, American diplomats were shocked by what they heard. The Chinese researchers told them that they didn't have enough properly trained technicians to safely operate their biolevel 4 laboratory. The Wuhan scientists were asking for more support to get labs up to top standard. Now, this is in 2017-18. Also, they kept cables unclassified because they wanted more people back home to be able to read and share them, which I guess it didn't. So what happened is this. We're going to bring out Anthony Fauci now. Anthony Fauci, his organization, the National Institute of Health, along with the CDC, FDA, USDA, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson, which you will see in this video. His organization sits on ANSI's board. At the time, between 2015 and 21, they were watched over by communist China because Zhao Jinwu, as I've showed you in other videos, was the leader of the International Accreditation Forum Incorporated in Delaware, handed over to him in 2015 to 2021. And he is also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services. They came out with, in 2019, to protect their asses, the Center for Disease Control came out with a training document for biolevel 4 laboratories in China. The only one mentioned in this is Wuhan, China. Now, back in 2017-18, when those diplomats complained about lack of training for these technicians for the biolevel 4 lab in Wuhan, we're going to pull out this. Now, this is a training document. This could be considered a standard for training in the biolevel 4 lab. And this is what they said. The safety and function of a biolevel 4 laboratory relies not on the containment, only on the containment of the facility and biosafety management systems, but also on highly qualified and experienced staff. Did you hear that, my fellow citizens, my business owners? I'm going to show you something. Now, you want to hear about staff. Even if you have trained staff, adequately trained staff, Pamela Sale, the Vice President of Quality for the American National Standards Institute and the American National Accrediting Board, has blown that out of the water. Even if you have trained staff, here she is giving a deposition in 2017-18 in Texas because of a laboratory failure down there. And all I'm going to do is add in worldwide biolevel 4 lab and phlebotomy labs to her sentence of disposition. And here it is. One of the issues is that there is no commonly agreed upon set of standards that forensic labs, biolevel 4 labs, and also phlebotomy labs around the country and world have to follow. Instead, there are informal guidelines that labs can choose to follow or not. Well, over here in this CDC, in the CDC procedure in May of 2019, it stated, the safety and function of a biolevel 4 laboratory relies not only on the containment facility and biosafety management systems, but also on highly qualified and experienced staff. While the Vice President of Laboratory Certification states something different. Whether you have technicians that are highly trained or not, because there are no protocols and no safety measures per se followed, you have out-of-control conditions, yet they still issue an ISO 17025 certificate for laboratory accreditation. I'm going to leave it right there, business owners, for today. I think that's enough. We will come back more than likely with a part 2 to this. But this video today is about Dr. Fauci erupts over calls for his arrest. QA expert explains about the Wuhan underwriters. And the underwriters in this case, the underwriters are ANSI-ANAB. They take full responsibility. I've showed you that time and time again. And here is the actual chart. You have ANSI and ANAB. They're underwriters. And they're underwriters for both the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation and they are in Australia. And you have the International Accreditation Forum, where they are incorporated in Delaware, USA. Now, if anything goes wrong with laboratories, with, let's say, the F-35's landing gear shears off, they're not responsible for the machining of it, but they're responsible for backing that organization that made that strut that came down from the F-35. They are responsibly legal as underwriters to certify the system and product. They usually say, we only certify the system, not the product. But by them being an underwriter, that is negated. That's off the table. They are responsible for the quality of that product because they are underwriters for both the IAF and ILAC. I leave it here. My telephone number is 203-556-1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS @yahoo.com. And the last thing I'm going to say is this. You will find all pertinent data, whether it's articles concerning Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, who are sitting on ANSI's board, who, Pfizer, for example, skipped quality processes and standards, and and here it is. If you don't believe it, here it is. You can actually read those. I have the links. I have the hard copies, just in case if they disappeared off the internet. Skipped critical testing and cut corners and quality standards and documents. And you have them sitting on ANSI's board, ANSI-ANAB, the Dalai Lamas of quality failure. It really looks like it in every arena, whether it's aerospace, automotive, medical, pharmaceutical, everything. Electronics is failure. Here's Pfizer, for example, skip quality processes while they're sitting over by the CDC, NIH, USDA, FDA. And here we go. This is a good one. Look at the bottom one over there. One and done. Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, one and done. FDA tells J&J to scrap 60 million vaccine doses made at the troubled plant. That's a problem. And you know what the problem is? I was involved with medical. All right, I was involved, even though it was implants, I was involved with other items within the medical arena as I progressed, whether at a label organization or whether at a plastic distribution organization. I dealt with other things. And the bottom line is this, when they have a recall, it's always not really caught inside the facility, but it's caught when it goes outside into the society. So those people who possibly took it may have gotten sick from it and or died. They won't publicize that. They just say they had a recall. Again, telephone number 203-556-1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS @yahoo.com. I thank you and have a wonderful day.